going to have Suhat and Arzia come to talk to us about their work as bursary recipients, but perhaps we'll just give a bit of background to who they are and why they're doing that work before they start talking. So you perhaps have heard about our bursary fund, which is currently supporting, I think, 14 students. And I actually think that in some ways this is the most transformational thing that TIP does. Of course, it's transformational for those 14 people. They're all getting the chance to go to either to high school, to go back to evening classes to get their high school diploma, or they're going to university. But what I think is most transformational about it is that we ask those students to do something every week for their community with their time as a kind of payback. And they can choose what. We're not trying to use them to fit in with our projects, but we ask them to identify something that they think their community needs and then to do that through us. And that, I think, is really a fundamental shift in terms of not just helping people in need and not just helping people in need to help themselves, which is, of course, what education always does, but then also helping people in need to help others in need. And that's the bit that I think if we as TIP and if all charity and humanitarian aid can get that right, then that means that people are becoming agents of change in their own communities. And ultimately, I'm not needed, you're not needed, Donieta and our staff in Pristina aren't needed. The community regenerates itself. And that's why I think Suat and Arzia are so inspiring. They chose that the work they would do in Suat's case would be to administer the Widows Fund. So the Widows Fund is mainly through Global Giving, this same online platform, although we do sometimes get donations. Coxie today has just handed me an envelope very kindly for it, and occasionally people will give money other than through Global Giving. But we collect money for the Widows Fund, and that small pot of money is then available every month. However much we've received that month, we give out that month. It's not something that accumulates or that builds. And we need somebody to go and visit all of the widows who we've identified in the community, who are women who are really stranded when a husband, particularly if they've been living in very fragile economic circumstances anyway, surviving on what a rubbish picker can bring home, that when that man dies, his family are left really without very many options. They haven't got any money in the bank, they haven't often literally got any food in the cupboards, and the woman, if she has children, preschool children, isn't even free to go out with her husband's wheelbarrow and take up his rubbish collecting job. So there really is not very many options. And what often happens is that the children of a widow will drop out of school in order to literally take up the wheelbarrow and start collecting in their father's place. And that's a tragedy on top of a tragedy, and something that we really wanted to tackle. And so we have a list of the widows in the community, and we needed somebody to go around those women every month and ask them what they particularly needed. It's often food, it's sometimes paying an electricity bill, it's sometimes a medical bill, or I'm trying to think of other things it's been. Somebody needed a new stove, but whatever those very specific practical things are, usually quite a small amount of money, maybe 15 euros or something like that, but that we can help on an ongoing basis and to try to keep their children in school. And Suat is that very necessary link in that chain, who actually goes and visits the women, finds out what they need, and then spends the money, doesn't give the money to them directly, but we spend the money on that item and delivers it to them. And Arzia will talk about the work that she does in teaching women to read and write. So this is part of our adult literacy program, which is of course transformational for those women, but also all the research shows that when a mother is educated, their children are A, more likely to be educated, and B, more likely to be healthy. There's a sort of bizarre relationship between mother's level of education and children's vaccination level, for example. But that's not just to do with being able to read the leaflet, but it's to do with being more aware in general, being more informed in general, feeling like you are an agent of change in your family, for having access to information. And that's what Arzia is making happen.
Hello to everyone.
I
am Suada Demi.
Jam bursist që shkollën e mesme dhe fakultetit të shtash, drejtimin administratë publike.
I am a bursary recipient. I've been a bursary recipient throughout high school and now university as well. I am studying for public administration in university.
Falë organizatës tipit, unë jam edhe zyrtar në komunën e Kosovës.
Thanks to the Ideas Partnership, I now work at the municipality of Fushkosov as well.
Unë në zyrën e komunitetën.
I work at the office for the communities.
Për shpagim, bursës, I kam 2 aktivitete që I kryjnë në tip.
As a payoff for the bursary, I help with 2 activities with the Ideas Partnership.
Njëri është me nëna vetëushqyese dhe tjetri me raste emergjente.
One of them is the Widows Fund project, and the other is the Emergency Fund.
Më nënat vetëushqyese, fillimisht kur kemi çdo muaj vizitat.
With the Widows Fund, every month I visit the families.
Çdo familje shkoj mas pari bisedoj për çka ka nevojë.
Every month, first when I visit the families, I ask them what their needs for that month are.
Të gjithat janë raste trauma specifike.
All of them are very difficult cases.
Unë I marr pak parasysh më shumë të ata që bashkat nuk kanë nevojë.
But still, because of the funds, I take into account each month the ones that are more in need than other families.
Po kërkesa prej tyre që kërkojnë, disa kërkojnë ushqim, disa kërkojnë borna, apo raste që kanë kërkuar një favorizim se raste të rënda.
From these families, there are cases when the families need food, groceries. There are cases when the families need medications, and there are even cases when the families need their electricity bills paid.
Numri është në rritje, është dhe në foto që është tash
As Suad says that the number of the widows in Fushkosov has risen, unfortunately, and the woman in the photo.
Familja Beqiri.
Family Beqiri.
Kam raste specifike që janë këtu jashtit, nëna dhe pushyse.
There are cases of widows that have returned from other countries.
Që të mujë kemi ndihmu një nënës në pushyse me 7 fëmijë.
This month, for example, we have helped a widowed women and her 7 children.
Kemi edhe një familje tjetër e cila ta është nëna dhe pushyse. I ka 2 fëmijë edhe ka shumë raste me radhë se nuk ka tjetër kush po dhe është e re dhe vetë një fëmijë.
Another case that Suad has helped recently is a young widowed woman who has 2 children and she doesn't have anyone else to help. It's only this fund that she relies on. Besides the Widows Fund, I also help with the Emergency Fund, which is a fund. It is mostly very difficult cases when people are very ill and they need medicaments. And this is it for Suad. He just wants to say thank you to everyone.
Hello to everyone. Hope that you're fine with health. I'm Arzia Zoe and I started to work for TIP as a volunteer, and after some months it was time to register to university, but I didn't register because I didn't have enough money for my studies. And one day Elizabeth came to my home and called me to meet with her and to talk about university. I met Elizabeth tomorrow and she told me for opportunity of supporting of my studies, and she motivated me to register university. In that week I registered University of Nursing, and now I'm making my dream reality. And after 3 months, the IDAS partnership, they offered me the position of teacher for parents which need learning and need to sorry, one moment. Which need to learn writing and reading. Now I work with mother of children which are going at the kindergarten, and we prepare these parents to learn writing and reading to help their children in the future. These parents came at the center every Monday and Wednesday from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and I have 2 groups. The first group have 20 parents and the second group have 20 parents. And they are so happy that they know can read and writing. With the first group, we learned reading and writing, and I teach them also math, and now they can calculate on the math. They are so happy and they are so thankful for this job. And the second group, we finished with them the letters, and now we're trying to read with them, and in the math they learned the numbers to 50. And their faces are looking now very happy. These groups, we reward them in the end of the month with hygienic pockets for their coming and their learning. It was my pleasure to present to you my work, and thank you for listening and attention.
Thank you so much, Ozia. It's really wonderful to hear about, and so great to see these photographs. You know, this is the first time I've seen photographs. I think the women, only when Sarah came to take pictures, agreed to have the photos taken, so it's really nice to share. Does anybody have any questions for Ozia or for Suat, who I think is still there off screen? Yeah.
What is Ozia? Ozia, what are you studying at university?
Did you hear the question, Ozia? Jackie asked you, what are you studying at university?
I'm studying for nursing. It's my first year. Yeah.
And how did the exams go? Because you've just finished the exams, right? Hakeni kaluar provimet.
Yes, I finished all.
Yeah, you passed all of them. Congratulations. I think Rob takes a particular pride in hearing Arzia's story, because Rob taught Arzia long division, or didn't quite teach.
She came to me with a note and she said, I'm studying with my studies, and I said, yes, of course, I'm going to help. She said, can you explain this long division to me? And I said, of course, it's been 30 years since I could. So the reason she's doing so well is because she didn't know.
But Arzia's story is really, it's inspiring now, as you've heard, but it was also inspiring 6 years ago when Rob was trying to teach her long division, because as you can see, Arzia wears a headscarf, and she was wearing that also when she was of school age, which, as you may know, means that she couldn't go to school in Kosovo, because by law the schools won't accept anybody wearing a headscarf. And so she studied. Arzia, you don't mind me telling this story?
Yes, I.
But do you mind me telling people how you did it at night with your books?
Yes.
So she would go get her school friends' textbooks and exercise books, and every night the school friend would give them to her, and she would then copy out the lessons of the day every single day for 2 years, I think, maybe 2 years.
Yeah, for 2 years.
Yeah, and that's how she managed to pass her equivalent of GCSEs. So if you can imagine passing your GCSEs without even going to school. And she passed them with very high marks, and was then able to go to the madrasa where she could wear the headscarf for her high school degree, high school certificate, and then was able to go on to university. So she's a real success story and a woman of much determination. So we're very lucky to have you working with us. Thank you, Arzia.
Thank you.